Good morning, everyone. It's a really privilege and honor to be amongst you to talk about what's happening in the industry from our perspective. I think Mr. Prabhu gave a nice presentation that what the future looks like, and definitely, all the collaborative spirit what we have among all of us is not only taking the industry forward, but also pushing us for making more innovation and more progress for our country. We all know we are the second largest telecommunication market today. And as Prabhu said, more than 850 million users on internet. I think connected users on internet. Telecom has been one of the key drivers for the economic growth. Today, its share in the GDP is 9%. 9% of the GDP is coming from telecom. So it's one of the major economic driver apart from providing technological solutions or the driving other verticals. It is also very important source for economic growth. It contributes around 4 million jobs, and more jobs are likely to come once the 5G use cases start happening in the country. We all know that we had the fastest 5G rollout in the country. We started late. I think compared to many countries, we were late, but we kind of overtaken most of them by fastest rollout in this country. Um, Today, if I see the latest report as of December, we have connected 738 districts with 4 lakh plus BTSs and 131 million 5G users, customers. It's a very good progress. And uh, in fact, when I was there in Barcelona along with our secretary, I think lot many people, lot many countries, lot of people we met, and everybody was appreciating that how India could do it, because it was thought that this is the cup of tea for very advanced nations, but in collectively industry and the government together shown that how we can move forward if we work together. Uh, and the report is already there that the 5G is the data consumption on 5G is already 3.6 times more than what it used to be in 4G. So government also took a lot of good decisions in terms of quickly doing auctions. For example, auctions were completed within 42 days, right from the day one to the end, and the spectrum was issued in 24 hours. ROW, you may be aware, the government has done a lot of good work in ROW, which used to take 52 weeks. Today, it takes 1 week. There is a portal, and the portal gives you the exact status where you are going to do. Recently, Honorable Minister announced regulatory sandbox, wherein the new startups, new entrepreneurs, if they want to test in the real working situation, using the real spectrum in the real network, the government will allow. Mostly BSNL network will be used for this purpose. You also know that government came up with the Telecom Act, which basically we were running with the Telecom Act of 1885. I don't know why all of us did not think that this act needs a change. And honorable minister, the day he came and he said, ये एक्ट 1885 का क्यों चल रहा है अंग्रेजों के समय का, and it's a very forward looking act which has come, which solves all the legacy problems and also looks forward that how we can move forward. Government has taken a lot of other things, because now if you look at the market, the telecom market today, the total market of electronics, if I say, around 114 billion dollars, primarily it is coming from outside. So and the second thing is the manufacturing base was hardly there in India. Government decided that we should set up the manufacturing base, because if we need to move in the value chain totally, so we need to do R&D, we do need to do manufacturing, we need to do innovation, we need to do patenting, we need to do standardization. So in this series, government came up first with PLI scheme. PLI was announced by MITI, PLI was announced by DOT. Then came the DLI, Design-Led Incentive Scheme, again by MIT, again by DOT. And very good results for all of us there are to be seen. If you look at the production, which was 2017, we had $49 billion of production we were doing. Currently, we are doing $100 billion of production, electronic production in India, and it is to be $300 billion by 2026, and we are quite on track. Uh, One of the major achievement of this PLI scheme have been the mobile phone. Unfortunately, Mr. Mahendra is not here, so on behalf of him, I can give some data. We were hardly there in mobile manufacturing. 99% of our mobiles used to come from outside. Hardly few brands were there here and there, 1%, 2% market share. Today, 99% of the consumption is happening with the local phones, locally manufactured phones. So 99%. We are producing $50 billion worth of mobile phones per year now, $50 billion. And we are exporting $15 billion of mobile phones to the outside world. So it is not only consumed in India, it is also consumed outside. So it's a very big achievement that we are able to produce $50 billion and $35 billion worth we are consuming in India, and $15 billion we are consuming outside. And this export, given the trend, given the policies, given the industry working, because if you see many SMT facilities have come up. Recently, I have been to Dixon in Noida. I saw the very modernized facility, producing phones, and there are such many facilities which have come in India. So what it means, it gives rise to ancillary industries, it gives rise to jobs, it gives rise to, skill development, and so that, and now the next target of the government is in the mobile phones, the value addition which comes from India should increase year by year, and which we already see happening. Because initially the PLI scheme is not linked with what you do in the in terms of promoting Indian industry, but automatically, given these SMT lines have come up, these ancillary industries are already taking place nicely. Another good pointer towards the healthy telecom market is the FDI. It rose by 150%. We had FDI of approximately $8.3 billion between 2002 to 2014. From 14 to 23, the FDI rose to $20.72 billion. So almost a rise of almost 3 times. Now government has also allowed FDI of 100%. So that whatever investments are required in this industry from the abroad can come up. We as as a government are looking that going forward, all these 4G, 5G, 6G, India should take a lead. And I don't know how many of you are aware, India has already developed its 4G and 5G stack, both core, radios, billing solutions. It's a complete stack India has developed. One of these stack has already been deployed in BSNL. It is already giving service in Punjab and Haryana. Currently, on 5 lakh customers are being serviced with a data rate of 70 terabyte per day. And the nationwide launch is expected somewhere in April. I mean, by April, we should be ready lighting up the data centers in Trichy for South Zone, Calcutta for East Zone, and Pune in West Zone. Soon, India will see its own 4G and 5G driven by Indian design in India, manufactured in India. Look at Tejas today. All these years, we have been buying radio equipments from outside. Today, Tejas is able to produce world-class radio equipment, and after the launch in BSNL, you will see that Tejas finding its inroads into the export market very, very easily. We recently signed, when I was in Barcelona, we signed an agreement with Qualcomm, wherein whatever products are around Qualcomm, if these need to be designed, we will take all the necessary help from Qualcomm. Qualcomm has also allowed us to not to charge or charge very minimally the license fee for the chip. For example, their license fee run into $4 million, $2 million, which is very difficult for startups to come up. And therefore, we signed an agreement with Qualcomm so that whoever designs any product around Qualcomm will give free license. We will not be charged. So any of the startups industry, if they want to develop any products around Qualcomm chips, they need not pay the license fee or have to pay very nominal amount of license fee. Government is also to complete the value chain is coming up with fab. Recently you saw there was a fab inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister. We are setting up ATMP facilities, we are setting up OSAT facilities. I'll also say that government came up with the TTDF scheme, Telecom Technology Development Fund, wherein we have every year a fund of 500 to 600 crore. Last year we took care of 100 proposals in TTDF 1.0, and this year TTDF 2.0 we have received 200 proposals. But I would like to talk about some proposals which have come for chip design. We will fund this year 6 chips in India to be made in India. So 6 chips will be funded, which will be made in India. Complete IP will be designed in India, and going forward, initially they might get manufactured in TSMC or PSMC. Now the PSMC coming in India. Going forward, these will be manufactured also in India. We are also working on, because we have still a lot many 2G customers in India. Now going forward, people are talking about 5G and 6G. We cannot leave some of the population behind. So this still maybe around 26 crore, I was told, are the 2G phones in India still. So you cannot shut them off. Therefore, government has taken an ambitious project of developing a Bharat 4G phone, which will be maybe 1200, 1300, which will give you 4G facility, so that we can replace the 2G phones with the 4G phones, so that our this kind of population, the bottom of the pyramid, also comes into 4G. I would also like to talk about, you all are aware that how cybersecurity, because while the networks are becoming complex, the cybersecurity challenge is also coming up. There are a lot of attacks happening to the enterprises, to the nations, to the critical infrastructure, and therefore we also need to take care of cybersecurity. We have done a good work in terms of protecting our national boundaries. We look at the cyber traffic and are able to control most of the attacks which are coming to India. Going forward, you may be aware that the quantum computing is now taking shape. Quantum computing, once the quantum computing comes, the current level of encryptions, what we run today, AES or whatever kind of encryptions we run, will be rendered useless, because the quantum computers will be able to break. And therefore, the new area has come up that is called quantum communication. Government of India is funding heavily this initiative. DST has come up with scheme of 6,000 crore. The recently National Quantum Mission was launched by Government of India with a budget of 6,000 crore. So and these proposals are still open in the DST website. Those of you who are working in the area of quantum, please make use of it and contribute to the nation building in terms of quantum communication. I would also like to say that now R&D has to take pace. R&D also has to go multi-level jump. R&D has to take, and therefore government has set up the NRF, National Research Fund, of 50,000 crore. I think recently, currently DST secretary has been appointed as CEO of NRF. I think industry should take advantage of this National Research Fund. Lastly, I would like to talk about standardization. Without standardization, the game doesn't end, because what happens, whatever you develop, whether you develop phone, you develop radio, you develop core, these requires standards. Standard need to be built, because the complete, for example, in telecom, we use 3GPP standard. How are these standards made? The vendors get in and put their standards inside, and some of these standards get converted into SEP, Standard Essential Patent, and therefore whoever develops will have to pay SEP to the other vendors. Initially, earlier years, 90s, 2000s, the SEPs used to reside in US, then came to Europe. Now they are primarily in China. So as a country, we need to take lead to see that we push our standards into the standard body, and that result into SEP. I'm also happy to tell you, I think most of you will be knowing, India is hosting WTSA and GSS in India in October this year in Bharat Mandapam. I think I encourage all of you to participate in WTSA and GSS. And there are a lot of competition, like for example, AI for Good, Kaleidoscope. There are many competitions, many areas where we can directly get into touch with the experts. Prabhu also talked about a lot about AI. So I'm not going to touch much, but I can definitely tell one of the application of AI what we have used and which is being heavily. I don't know how many of you are aware of sancharsathi.gov.in and this website. How many of you are aware? I think very limited. Please go through this sancharsathi.gov.in site, wherein many citizen-centric services are coming up. For example, you lose your phone, it will be traced. You know how many connections are working in your name without your notice. I myself, when I checked, I had 4 connections. Well, actually, I have 1 connection. So 3, you can disconnect there itself. The Chakshu was launched by Honorable Minister last month, wherein you can report your suspected fraud. Using this AI, we could, because cyber frauds were increasing in our country rapidly and we had no clue how to control it. Then came the AI which helped us. You will be surprised to know we have disconnected 80 lakh connections using this AI. 80 lakh fraudulent connections were disconnected using the AI tool which was developed by CDOT. Because using AI, we could find this connection is a fraudulent connection. And therefore, and what happened, then we realized that these connections are also, once we disconnect, but they still continue in WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. Then we we integrated our platform with the WhatsApp Meta. So now once the connection is cut there, his WhatsApp account is also disabled. Then we connected with the banks. The moment this number is found out, his bank account is frozen. So AI is being used drastically for this. I will end my talk by saying that 5G has delivered in terms of its availability across the country, and going forward, many operators are working very hard that the footprint happens nicely. The 5G use cases are what will drive the next growth wave, and we encourage the industry, the startups to work with us, and whatever help is required in terms of providing lab, providing radio, providing core, providing test tools, providing lab environment, mentorship, we will be able to provide that. And we look forward for healthy growth in coming years. And we expect that our country, once this 5G and 6G takes over, we do a lot of manufacturing here, a lot of R&D here. It will ultimately turn to a healthy socioeconomic growth for our country. So I look forward for working with you, and say best of great success to this conference today. I think a lot many good speakers are here to learn and how to take the industry forward. Thank you so much.